Some people don't need Wi-Fi, coffee shops around the corner, or endless conversations. All they need is the forest, silence, and a home where no outsider will ever reach. These dwellings appear where the pavement ends. All signals vanish, and the only conversations left are with the wind and birds. You won't find places like these on tourist maps, and they don't shine on Instagram, and that's exactly the point. Some live among cliffs, some deep in the taiga, and others on islands where there isn't even a road. These aren't just houses. They're a conscious disappearance from the world. Let's take a look at these places where people truly hide from civilization. On the edge of a Canadian forest near Whistler stands an unusual cabin that brings to life any teenager's dream of a treehouse. The Hemloft Treehouse, with its unique egg-shaped design, wasn't born from the mind of a seasoned craftsman, but rather as the result of a playful challenge between two builders. The game, called Sport Sleeping, was all about finding the most unusual and thrilling places to spend the night. After several nights in the strangest of spots, from lakes to ski lifts, Joel Allen began building his own shelter. With a limited budget and a plan to use reclaimed materials, he found the perfect tree and built his cabin using whatever he could get his hands on. Now imagine a house that glides across water, giving you a constant sense of freedom. This isn't fantasy, it's reality. A floating home created by Bonnie and her friend, boat-building expert Dennis Tremblay. It all began when Bonnie felt a deep connection to water and started a joint project, a small year-round home on the water. The house is fully insulated, fitted with an antique stove for heating in winter, and powered by a marine battery. Inside, there's a kitchen, a toilet, a dining area, and a living room. And on the second floor, a cozy sleeping loft with a slatted floor that lets warm air rise. Naturally, to make the most of the experience, the loft leads to a rooftop deck with stunning panoramic views. In Dubai, famous for its luxury and outlandish real estate, there's a home that leaves no one indifferent. This floating house is one of the most innovative concepts imaginable. The Kleindienst Group devoted more than 18,000 hours to research and design to ensure these homes not only float, but function perfectly on water. The final concept was unveiled in 2016, and the demand was immediate. 60 units sold before construction was even completed. If you dream of owning such a unique home, prepare to pay around $12 million. The highlight? These homes aren't limited to what you see on the surface. Below the waterline lies an entire level, including a master bedroom and a bathroom with panoramic windows offering views of a private coral garden, while above, luxurious living areas open onto the sea. Casa Malaparte is one of the most striking examples of Italian modernism. Built on the edge of the Gulf of Salerno, it can only be reached by foot or boat, and only when the sea is calm. The house was envisioned by writer Curzio Malaparte, who eventually replaced the architect and took over key design decisions himself, transforming the building into a bold red rectangle with a pyramid-like staircase leading to an open rooftop terrace. After Malaparte's death in 1957, the building fell into decay. Years of vandalism and storms destroyed the interior until serious restoration began in the late 1980s. Many original interior features still survive today, including a built-in marble bathtub and furniture that was too large to remove. Despite having no official dock, the house continues to attract architecture lovers from around the world. The Solvay hut, perched on the northeast ridge of the Matterhorn, is considered the highest mountain hut operated by the Swiss Alpine Club. It was built at an altitude of 4,003 meters above sea level and is intended strictly for emergencies. The summit lies less than 500 meters away, but the route to it is accessible only to experienced mountaineers. The hut was completely rebuilt in 1966, but an emergency telephone wasn't installed until a decade later. Unlike other club shelters where you can eat and rest, this refuge is meant solely for climbers in crisis. Its isolation and harsh conditions make it a place you don't reach by choice, only out of necessity. The windows in these suites aren't just panoramic. They're everywhere, including the floor, and each one hangs directly over a cliff. The Sky Lodge Adventure Suites are located about 13 kilometers from Machu Picchu, perched on one of the sheer cliffs of Peru's Sacred Valley. These transparent capsules, roughly 7.5 meters long and 2.5 meters high, are made of aluminum and polycarbonate and are securely anchored to the rock face. Inside, there are full-size beds and cozy areas designed for several guests. The only way to reach these suites is by climbing a 120-meter-long ladder attached to the cliff. Sky Lodge is made for those willing to earn their breathtaking view, not by elevator, but by effort. The Bishop Rock Lighthouse stands 64 kilometers off the coast of England on the Isles of Scilly, and for nearly 2 centuries has endured relentless waves. The first attempt to build a lighthouse here failed. The structure was washed away before it was even finished. The second version, built in the 19th century, received a granite frame, iron reinforcements, and a solid drum-shaped base. The lighthouse stands over 42 meters tall, and from the top, you can see dozens of tiny scattered islands. There are no neighbors, no shops, and no solid ground near Bishop Rock, only sea, sky, and complete solitude. In the heart of Antarctica, where the wind never stops, on Winter Island stands one of the most isolated homes on the planet, Wordy House. Originally a British World War II military base, it can now accommodate up to 5 guests seeking refuge. Inside, there's everything needed for survival: a kitchen, bunk beds, and a wood stove to withstand the continent's brutal cold. The hut is named after James Wordy, a member of one of the earliest Antarctic expeditions. The interior remains almost untouched. Old coffee tins still sit on the shelves, alongside vintage radio equipment. Near the entrance, a yellowed fire safety instruction sheet still hangs on the wall. Petit Bisat. A white dome in the middle of the Mojave Desert looks like it just landed from another planet, and that's not far from the truth. This is Volcano House, a futuristic dwelling once owned by TV personality Huell Hauser. Architect Harold James Bissner Jr. designed it in just one day, inspired by nuclear power plants, horoscopes, and fishing. The house sits atop a volcanic crater, and its white roof isn't just a style choice. It's a carefully designed shield against the scorching desert sun. Its isolation and alien-like surroundings made it the perfect retreat for anyone craving peace and quiet. An island the size of a tennis court, somehow hosting a house, a tree, and a bit of beach, sounds like a challenge to logic. Just Room Enough Island lies in the St. Lawrence River near the Canada-US border and is officially the tiniest inhabited island among the 1,864 islets of the Thousand Islands archipelago. It measures around 300 square meters, just enough for the Sizeland family to turn it into a summer getaway in the 1950s. The house instantly became a tourist attraction, ironically defeating their quest for solitude. Despite its absurd size, the island is officially recognized. It remains above water year-round and has at least one tree. Tourists continue to arrive each year to witness this incredible marvel with their own eyes. Living above the Arctic Circle isn't for everyone, but on the island of Manshausen in northern Norway, it looks like a dream come true. In 2015, a renowned polar explorer who had soloed both the Arctic and Antarctica founded a retreat of 7 minimalist cabins designed to preserve the fragile ecology of the region. Built on coastal rocks, the cabins seem to hover over the sea, offering panoramic views through full-height glass walls. From inside, you can watch the northern lights from bed or sip coffee in total silence beside a giant window. In 2024, the project expanded with 3 new cabins and a sauna, maintaining the delicate balance between comfort and nature. Each new structure accommodates up to 5 guests and includes a kitchen, bathroom, lounge area, and 2 bedrooms, all within a compact yet well-thought-out space. This home, hidden deep within Montezuma Canyon in Utah, looks as though it's been carved straight into the rock. It blends seamlessly with the landscape and seems completely remote. Yet it's just a 20-minute drive from the nearest town. Despite its humble exterior, the interior offers a warm, inviting space of 200 square meters. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a distinctly southwestern atmosphere that feels cozy and bright. There's also a 3-car garage, perfectly suited for both a sedan and an off-road vehicle. What sets Cliff Haven apart is its seclusion. The house sits on 5 hectares of red rock, and the nearest neighbor is about an hour's walk away. It's not a palace, but it's a place that perfectly balances nature retreat with easy access to civilization. Ready to test your nerves on one of the most dangerous hiking trails in the world? Mount Huashan in China, standing over 2,100 meters tall, draws not only thrill-seeking adventurers, but also spiritual pilgrims to one of China's most sacred mountains. Along the way, you'll encounter ancient Taoist temples, tea houses, and paths carved directly into the cliffs, making the ascent truly one of a kind. But the most remarkable spot is the Chess Pavilion, located on a narrow outcrop of rock. To reach it, you must descend a perilous section using metal footholds and old chains attached to the rock. The effort pays off. From there, you get a breathtaking view and the chance to play a quiet game of chess in complete solitude. This place was once reachable only by the most determined, either by climbing steep steps carved into the rock or crossing a mountain pass over 600 meters high. The village of Gasadour in the Faroe Islands remained completely cut off from the world for years. On one side, harsh mountains; on the other, a sheer sea cliff. There were no random tourists or bustling streets, only wind, pasture land, and a few residents tending the land and their herds. By 2012, only 18 people still lived there. Everything changed with the construction of a tunnel that connected the village to the rest of the archipelago, offering hope for a renewed life without losing its precious sense of seclusion. Once upon a time, this spot sheltered a lighthouse keeper from the Arctic wind. Now it welcomes the most determined of travelers. At the farthest edge of the Lyngen Peninsula in Norway stands a tiny red cabin built in 1922. Nearly forgotten, it was rediscovered and restored by 2 hikers in 1986 and has since been maintained by volunteers. The cabin is open to all. Inside, there's an attic sleeping space and a wood stove where you can cook dinner while gazing out at the endless northern sea. It's completely isolated from civilization, yet nestled in one of the most stunning corners of northern Norway. The Lyngen Alps are famed for skiing, snowmobiling, and even reindeer sledding. While in summer, hikers arrive to explore trails winding through cliffs and fjords. Somewhere on the edge of Antarctica, amid eternal ice and howling winds, there operates a station that manages to survive in conditions where even penguins struggle. The Halley research station is located on the Brunt ice shelf, where temperatures can drop as low as -56 degrees Celsius. It's famous for being the place where scientists first detected the ozone hole in 1985. The station is made up of ski-mounted modules, a design that allows the structure to be moved across the ice using heavy machinery to avoid cracks and collapses in the glacier. Over the years, researchers here have gathered unique data on space weather, atmospheric chemistry, and the movement of the ice itself. In complete isolation, under the polar night and total silence, Halley remains one of the most vital scientific outposts on Earth. Once considered an island dream estate, today it's a ghost of its former luxury. Middle Sedge Island in Barnegat Bay, New Jersey, was once listed for $6.5 million and included a 560 square meter main house, a guest cottage, and 14 hectares of private land. The island was fully connected to electricity, water, and gas, and its remote location in the wild made it especially appealing. But in 2012, Hurricane Sandy destroyed this idyllic retreat, damaging the building foundations and leaving the property in a semi-ruined state. By 2022, all signs of glamour had vanished: broken windows, birds nesting inside, and a pool overgrown with algae. Now, the entire site is valued at under $900,000, a bleak reminder of how quickly nature can reclaim even the most expensive things in the world. Want every day to start with a climb nearly 3 kilometers above sea level? Welcome to the Paro Valley in Bhutan, where the path to the famed Tiger's Nest Monastery becomes a daily workout. Perched on a cliff at an altitude of around 3,000 meters, this complex of 13 monasteries has served as a place of meditation since the 8th century. According to legend, Padmasambhava, one of the founders of Tibetan Buddhism, flew here on the back of a tiger. To reach the sacred site, one must complete a 2-hour uphill trek from 2,100 meters to the top. The altitude and early morning mist make the journey especially tough, while the panoramic cliffside views might make your heart skip a beat. Still, it's the perfect destination for those seeking silence, solitude, and the absence of random visitors. Not everyone needs Wi-Fi or air conditioning for a vacation. Some are content with 2 giant boulders and a bit of imagination. In 1972, Casa Panito appeared in northern Portugal, a house that looks like it came straight out of the Stone Age. It was built by holidaymakers who wanted something truly unique, not just an ordinary cottage. Hidden in the rural region of Fafe, the house is nestled between massive rocks, which form the walls, roof, door, and even the chimney. Inside, there's no electricity or conventional furniture. Everything is carved from wood, including a 250-kilogram eucalyptus sofa. It was once used for vacations, but today it's open to tourists. If you're ever in the area, it's worth visiting, if only to experience what it's like to live among the stones. This house appears to merge with the earth itself. That's how naturally it blends into the Mexican mountain landscape. In 2021, architects from HW Studio completed the hill in front in the city of Morelia, creating a dwelling partially sunken into the ground. The low-lying concrete structure preserves the raw character of the surrounding terrain and emphasizes its rugged beauty. There's no paint or finishes inside, just bare concrete and clean geometric lines. The interior unfolds under a long concrete vault that sets the rhythm of the space and visually connects the home to its landscape. The architects were inspired by the idea of shelter and childhood memories of hiding under blankets. Despite its apparent simplicity, this house has become one of the most striking examples of contemporary minimalism. There's probably no better way to witness the northern lights than lying under a warm blanket in your own glass igloo. In Finland, these unusual dome-shaped structures combine the coziness of an Inuit dwelling with the luxury of a hotel suite. Their defining feature is a panoramic roof that offers a full view of the starry sky and the dancing auroras. Inside, everything is arranged for maximum comfort: a large bed, a private bathroom, and even a personal sauna. Thick walls and warm interiors shield guests from the cold, so you never have to step outside to enjoy Arctic nature. Despite their unusual shape, the level of service here easily rivals that of any high-end hotel. Life here seems to slow down, and even the sun feels like it lingers on the horizon. In Egypt's Siwa oasis, tranquility reigns, surrounded by hundreds of freshwater springs, a salt lake, and endless groves of date palms and olive trees. You can reach it by road straight from the Mediterranean coast. Local landmarks are just as striking as the nature itself: an ancient mud brick city, a museum filled with relics of the past, the Mountain of the Dead, and the mysterious Oracle Temple. This isn't a resort filled with hotels and crowds. It's a sanctuary where you'll want to stay. Siwa seems to bring you back to a simple rhythm of life, one that's so easy to forget in the noise of the city. Instead of careers and luxury, they chose solitude, 12 meters above the ground in the middle of the forest. A couple from Dallas built a unique fire lookout-style home on a 65-hectare plot in remote Oregon. The decision came after 5 years of camping in the area and renting real fire towers through the U.S. Forest Service. Their home is just 36 square meters, but it has everything: electricity, water, internet, and cell service. They intentionally left out an indoor bathroom to preserve the views. The shower is on the veranda, and the toilet is in the woods. What started as a weekend getaway eventually became their full-time home. Imagine waking up every day surrounded by forests, majestic mountains, and clear blue skies. Like a slice of paradise. That's the atmosphere at St. John's Church in Ranui, Italy. While you can't live there, it can be rented for weddings or special events. This charming little church, along with the nearby farmstead, is the only building for miles around. Perfect for those who dislike crowds and urban noise. One of the church's most unusual features is its marble-painted wooden altar, which displays two strange yet memorable images of St. John of Nepomuk. In both, he is shown sticking out his tongue at Jesus. If someone were lucky enough to turn this into a private home, they'd enjoy peace, quiet, and sweeping views of the countryside every single day. Amid the turquoise waters and lush greenery of a Caribbean island lies a house that could easily be any artist's dream. Its name alone is enough to capture your imagination. Mysterious and alluring, it reflects the house's magical energy. Though its interiors may appear randomly styled, they radiate harmony. The centerpiece is a massive stone that seems to have rested there for centuries, as if the whole house was built around it. Using materials brought in by the sea or found nearby, the creators assembled a one-of-a-kind structure that includes elements like whale bones and native wood, forming not only a solid foundation but also an artistic space. This is a house that demands to be noticed, a testament to human creativity in the face of all odds. Imagine a place where you could survive any catastrophe, from natural disasters to technological collapse, with complete confidence that you and your loved ones are safe. Vivos X, formerly a U.S. Army base in the Black Hills, is a unique survival shelter capable of housing up to 5,000 people. This fortified complex was originally built with reinforced concrete bunkers used to store munitions and explosives. After its decommissioning in 1967, the area was repurposed for cattle farming, and today it's the world's largest survival community. Each of the 575 bunkers is designed to house 24 people and is stocked with enough food, water, and fuel for up to a year. Located at an altitude of 1,158 meters, Vivos X is ideal for withstanding external threats, thanks to its remote location far from major water bodies and nuclear targets. Now picture yourself in one of Colorado's most secluded corners, a place that's not as easy to reach as it looks. This mill, built in 1892, once powered mining equipment on the Crystal River. Today, it stands abandoned, drawing only those in search of solitude. The road to the mill is a real adventure. Winding and rocky, it could flip your vehicle if you're not careful. Once there, you'll find the mill perched on a stone cliff with the river rushing below. To get inside, you'll need to climb a makeshift ladder. There are no modern amenities here, but for solitude seekers, it's an ideal retreat. Port Lockroy in Antarctica is a place where you can completely disconnect from the modern world and enjoy absolute peace and quiet. In a small bay lies the southernmost functioning post office in the world, once part of a research station. Today, it's a popular stop for ships touring Antarctica, though for most of the year, the port is covered in ice. All life here revolves around the post office and souvenir shop, run by a team of just 4 people. Residents live without hot water, internet, or many modern comforts, relying on supplies delivered by ship. Despite the harsh conditions, the life here is unique, and the penguins and breathtaking sunsets make the challenges more than worthwhile. Imagine climbing nearly 400 meters up rocky terrain and scaling 102 stone-cut steps to reach a place where you can fully retreat from the chaos of the world. The Hermitage of San Colano in northern Italy offers exactly that. Built in the 10th century and inhabited since 753, this monastery sits tucked into a cliffside, protected by a natural stone roof. Due to the difficult access, for both locals and tourists, it's an ideal spot for those seeking true tranquility. According to legend, the Hermitage was dedicated to Saint Columbanno, a knight who defeated a dragon that terrorized the local people. Today, the site is open to visitors and serves as the starting point of the historic Treasure of Trallo Trail. High in the mountains, hidden within the rock, is a small dwelling that stuns with its sheer isolation, a feat of human effort nestled within unforgiving nature. Among the clouds, atop 2 rocky pillars connected by a bridge, ancient structures seem to float between earth and sky. ESO Hotel in Chile looks like a space station, fitting for its location in the harsh desert climate that earned it the nickname the Mars Dorm. This hotel is not open to regular tourists, but serves as a base for scientists and engineers working at one of the world's most powerful telescopes. Standing at 20,400 meters above sea level, it's an oasis in extreme conditions. Blazing sun, high winds, and drastic temperature shifts. A peaceful internal garden and relaxation zones help staff rest between shifts. The building has 4 levels with 108 rooms, a restaurant, library, and even a pool. However, only personnel can stay there. Visitors require special permits, such as those issued to journalists. Imagine a house atop a 40-meter cliff, far from everything. This place exists in the village of Katskai in western Georgia, a unique church perched on the Katskai Pillar, a natural limestone monolith dating back to the 9th century. Early Christian ascetics believed building monasteries on pillars brought them closer to God. Here you'll find not only a church, but also monks' cells, a wine cellar, and a stone crypt, all surrounded by a protective wall. The only way up is by ladder. After decades of abandonment, the pillar was reopened in 1944. In 1993, former prisoner Maxim Kavtaradze chose to live there to repent and devote himself to prayer and solitude. Since then, he has lived a life apart from the world, dedicated to simplicity and spiritual reflection. A remote island home surrounded by nothing but ocean has often captured the internet's imagination. Many speculated about who could live there, perhaps a reclusive billionaire, or survivors of a zombie apocalypse. But the truth behind Iceland's Eleay Island is far less mysterious. Located off the southern coast of Iceland, it was once home to a few families who chose seclusion over mainland life around 300 years ago. They survived by raising livestock, fishing, and hunting, until eventually migrating to the mainland in search of better living conditions. Before leaving, locals built the modest hut that remains today. It has no water, no electricity, and is now used only occasionally by hunters needing shelter for the night.